I'm going to talk about the Scrum frameworks, one of the Agile framework. Now, many of you might be aware of the Agile principle and values. Well, and at a broader level, Agile is all about it's a method, not a methodology because it does not describe about the tools and process that we use, but one of the ways for your project implementation and execution. And under the umbrella of Agile, we have this Scrum framework. So, what is Scrum? Now, Scrum is an agile project management framework commonly used in software development, although it has been used in other fields, including research, sales, marketing, and advanced technology. Also, the three pillars of the agile, the foundation of agile on which it relies. It's like the so if you carefully scrutinize Scrum, you'll find again and again the three pillars of empirical process control, which is inspection, transparency, and adaptation. So these are the three pillars of agile. So Scrum is an agile project management framework that enables the team to work together in an efficient, organized way. It is divided into five phases: initiation, planning, estimation, implementation, retrospective, and release phase. Okay. So in today's topic, what we mainly going to cover, as you can see in the screen, is uh, the Agile Manifesto. Like I said at the start, like the four values of Agile, which is describing the Agile Manifesto. Then, what are the foundations of the Scrum, the empirical or the process on which it's defined? What is a sprint? We will talk more about. We'll talk more about the iterative and incremental, like how the Scrum uses this incremental and iterative development approach and identify the benefits of developing product in this fashion. Scrum, I mean, in a Scrum, the sprint is time box. When I say time box, it means identifying everything is time box. It has to be done with the start and end time to any of the activity that you do. And then there's the significance of done. So when you say done means there is some prerequisite, and when you say done means it is ready. The activity is potentially shippable increment at the end of each sprint that will have value to the business. Also, we'll talk about the Scrum, five Scrum values, how you can use that Scrum practices to support those, and the applicability of the Scrum, the identity, identifying the environments where you can use the Scrum framework and come with a better results. So that would be, like the basic that we're going to cover. And then, in Scrum, you have the Scrum roles. Like if I talk about the main three roles, is one of them is the Scrum Master. Now, Scrum Master has a certain responsibility, like he's a process related, he's an servant leadership, he's a change agent, he serves the product owner and team, basically helps them or assists them in identifying or getting their jobs done, fostering empowerment. He's the one who is the conflict resolver, removes the impediments that is being identified, coaches the product owner and the team, like by helping them on how to do it and then improve the productivity or working practices and how to use the tools. Protects the team, it's a scrum master who will shield the team from interruptions or interference during the sprint. Also, he is the one who guides the team, who will guide on the model, the values and principle of Agile, encouraging the team to challenge themselves while remaining true to the spirit as well. Then comes the product owner. The product owner is the one who drives the product success. He is the one who will maintain the backlog, guide the team with up to date knowledge of user and market. So he is the one who creates the product vision. Now, uh, the other roles and responsibility of a product owner would be maintaining the backlog, collaboration with the team, collaboration with the stakeholders, participate in sprint meetings, and then he has certain authority. Like for example, he's the only one who can cancel a sprint, an ongoing sprint. He's the one who defines a priority along with the team members. There are, organizational respect. like given the authority to make the necessary decision to achieve the ROI on the product as per the definition in the Scrum framework. And then the third and the last role is the team. Now, again, the team has certain roles and responsibilities, like self-manageable. They are the ones who will deliver a product increment. So maintaining the sprint backlog and sprint progress tracking, then participate in the sprint meetings. So this dev team, or you would say the team, is the one who will actually work during the sprint planning, who will participate in the DSM call, who will participate in the review, wherein giving reviews to the client, and on what they have done or they have completed, getting feedback from them, and then doing the retrospection. So it's a team. Now they have the authority, wherein with the responsibility, what is accountable for them. And definitely, as you might be well aware, that teamwork is something that makes a project a highly productive, or as a team, a highly productive team. Okay. Now, certain characteristics are there for a team which we can talk about. In talking about the ceremonies of the Scrum, there are mainly five ceremonies. One, you have the sprint planning, wherein you have certain objectives and then you define the goals. So from the product backlog, you take some items in the sprint backlog, discuss on those items in the planning, and then finalize on the sprint goals. Once your goal is finalized, you move to the DSM, wherein every day you connect with your team, you discuss on what will be the what has been done, what was done yesterday, what will the resource will be doing today, and if there are certain impediments or challenges that needs attention or address. Then you have your sprint review, where you know you give demo to the client on what is being done, and then get their acknowledgement, and then accordingly pass the story. The fourth comes the retrospective, wherein you talk about how was the sprint, how it went, what was good, what was bad, what are the areas where we have to improve on the process that needs correction. So in retrospective is generally there are some feedbacks and action that takes in, so that we don't repeat certain mistakes during the in the next sprint. Now there are different techniques for which we can talk about here. And the last ceremony is the release planning, wherein, or you can say, you have your uh, refinements, or actually it's a planning, wherein the objective, you decide on the objective and the outcome of the every planning. So typically you take on the items that needs to be done in a particular release and the estimation for those. Now certain moving on to the next part is the Scrum artifacts. Like, what are the artifacts? Like product backlog. So there has to be some artifact that support your product vision, or your objective of the project. So one of them is the product backlog. So identifying the product backlog is an order and emerging list of users, plus anything that is required to fulfill the product vision. So that is one product backlog. Then you have sprint backlog, that is your second, and then you have, so this is the one second, and then you have the product increment. So I talked about the product backlog, where at a high level, you have the creating the backlogs with a prioritized list, which is like a product vision for a client or for any user. And then you have a sprint backlog, wherein whatever items has been taken in a particular sprint has to be done, and then how it works. And the last was the product increment and the definition. So whatever item has been completed, say sprint one I completed X item, then sprint two Y items. So all those X plus Y has to be shipped to the client. I mean, in the sense on the live environment, you can say. So all these items will be moved to the end user for testing, for the alpha beta testing, and then accordingly to the live setup, for ready to market. So this will be the artifacts. Moving down, some of the matrices to measure the performance of your sprint, how it works. Then we can talk about the burn down charts, wherein you have the sprint burn down, or you can have the release burn down charts. So some of the metrics, and then there are many which you can configure in those tools which we'll use. So we can talk about those as well. The last is the scaling Scrum. Now, when you're working with the multiple Scrum teams, So then you have to scale up. So you have those scaling teams, like you have multiple teams, and within each team you have a product owner. There is a separate product backlog for each team. Then there is separate team. So all those ceremonies will be performed at team level. Roles will be distributed at team level. Like you will have product owners, scrum master, developers, devs at the team level. So and all this team will work to a common project vision. You can think of an example where you have divided your team based on the components. Now, so working with distributed teams is another topic that we have to talk about, or we will cover. It's like product owner is in a different location, or Scrum team splits are in different location. Importance of infrastructure and engineering.